All right, everyone, let's take a look at our next lesson, 5.3, rational exponents and roots here today. So we're going to talk about what is a rational exponent. So in your notes, you can just note this down. Rational exponents is simply an exponent that can be written as a fraction. Okay, so notice how here I have the word examples. So I'm going to actually give you some examples here today. So for instance, we could have x to the 1/2 power, x to the 3/4 power, x to the 9/7 power. Anything that can be written as a fraction is considered a fractional exponent. So before actually even realizing it, you actually have been doing fractional exponents kind of in a way, but in a different way, which we call radical form. How radical form, if you remember, like if I take the square root of x. How a radical form works with basically irrational exponents, or works as an exponent, is as follows. Okay? The number inside here is the numerator. The number outside is the denominator. Now a square root, it's not written, but it always assumes the number 2. So how this is written again, as I mentioned, the number inside is the numerator, okay, meaning it goes in the top. The number outside here is the denominator. So that goes in the bottom. Okay. So this is like saying x to the 1/2 power, or 1/2 power. Basically, that's what leads to this rule. A to the m over n can be written as one of two ways. The one that I'm focusing on is here, but another way that you can do it is if you have the power on the outside, this part here acts as the top. This always acts as the denominator, or the bottom. Notice how inside here, top, bottom. Okay? So in your notes, I'm going to kind of cross out these 3 problems because we're not going in that particular direction, but I want to look at examples like these that I have down here. I've crossed out those. I know I've changed up this note packet a little bit here. That will happen from time to time, so please be patient with me. So, if I want to rewrite this as a fractional exponent, here's the numerator, here's the denominator. So x to the 4/3. I try the next one. Here's the numerator, here's the denominator, x to the 2/5. I want you to try the last one, and I'll give you about 10 seconds. Ready? Go. All right, how'd I do giving you 10 seconds? X to the 7/3 power. All right, so now, on these next problems here, I want to see what happens when we simplify these problems. So I have x squared raised to the 1/2 power. Well, 2 times 1/2 is just 1. Next one, 3 times 1/3, that's just 1. 4 times 1/4, that's just 1, so we just have x. X to the 3/4 times 4/3, well, 4's cross out, 3's cross out, and I'm just left with x. The thing that what I want you to see here is, how are these numbers related to each other? They are called reciprocals. So one of the things that we can do is we can actually solve any type of equation with an exponent by taking it to the power of the reciprocal. Meaning, if I have something like this, if I have, say this is 3 and this is 2, and I'm trying to solve this for 10, one of the things I can do is write this as a fractional exponent. X to the 2/3 power equals 10. To get rid of the 2/3, I can raise it to the 3/2. What I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So I get x equals, so then I can go 10 raised to the 3 divided by 2 power, and look at that. And yeah, we're going to get some interesting answers. So with our answers, we might be rounding, say, to 3 decimal places. So to give you some more practice like these and see more examples, let's flip to the next page. Okay? All right. So on this page, wow, I didn't clean it off. I'm going to clean it off here. Okay? So I give you kind of some step-by-step guidance. So the first step when doing problems like this is 1, change the radical to a fractional exponent. Once you've done that, so in number 2, once x and its exponent are by itself, so you might have to do some math, to get rid of the exponent, raise both sides to the reciprocal value of the exponent. So if you're struggling with that one a little bit here, just watch as I do a few problems. So on the first one here, it says the cube root of x equals 12. So I rewrite this as a fractional exponent. Remember, the numerator would be 1. The denominator would be 3. So I have x to the 1/3 power equals 12. Now I want to get rid of to the 1/3 power. So I raise it to the reciprocal. Flip the fraction. 1/3, flip it, is 3/1 or 3. So I'm really just raising this both to the 3rd power. So I get x equals, so now 12 raised to the 3rd power, 1728, the year Mr. Bartz was born. I'm kidding. I know I seem old, but I'm not that old. All right, number 2, same process. Okay, so here I have x, numerator, denominator, 3/4 power equals 11. Now, got to get rid of the fractional exponent, so I'm going to raise it to the 4/3 power. Exponents cross out. X equals 11 raised to the 4 divided by 3 power. This is where we're going to get some very, very interesting answers. So here I have 4637, so 4, 3, the 6, I'm sorry, not 3, Mr. Bartz is getting ahead of himself. The 3 raises to a 4. Sorry, I just need to step back. I wasn't reading the calculator well. All right, last one. Well, actually, I might make up 1 or 2. So on this one, I have a to the, remember, this is always the denominator, 11/7 power equals 21. To get rid of the fractional exponent, we raise it to the reciprocal, 7/11. So I get a equals, crosses out, 21 raised to the 7 divided by 11 power equals 6.941. So if I round that, yep, 6.941. All right, I do want to do at least one more example, because it also talked about in step 2, it says once x and the exponent is by itself. So what if I have a problem like this? I have something like 5, the 3rd root of x squared plus 7 equals, let's say it equals 22. Okay. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is deal with this part right here and rewrite it. So I have 5x to the 2/3 power plus 7 equals 22. Oh. Well, now just solve it like we solve anything algebraically. Subtract the 7. 5x to the 2/3 power equals now, just those cross out, 15. Divide everything by 3. Or 3, Mr. Bartz. 5. Mr. Bartz was getting ahead of himself. X to the 2/3 power equals 3. Now deal with the exponent. So I raise it to the reciprocal. 3/2 power, 3/2 power. So X equals, they cross out, 3 raised to the 3 divided by 2 power, 5.196. Alrighty, that takes care of the notes. Let's go to the CFU packet and the homework and do some more practice. See you over on the next pack or video.